Welcome to this episode of the Sports Detective Podcast Show. My name is James Williams, and today is Aaron Rodgers ghosting NFL teams. What are we talking about? Well, as you guys know, we are in the midst of NFL free agency. Over the last few days, we've seen dozens of transactions in the NFL. We've seen guys re-sign with their current team. We've seen guys sign to new teams. We've seen guys get traded to new teams. But we still have one last big quarterback domino to fall, and that is where Aaron Rodgers will be playing football next season. But what's really interesting about the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, if you want to call it that, is that the teams that are trying to sign him to be their quarterback next season aren't really hearing that much from Aaron Rodgers. They don't know when he's going to make his decision. They don't know really what he wants out of a team that he is going to. And to kind of get a further breakdown of what is going on or what is not going on with the Aaron Rodgers decision, Adam Schefter was on SportsCenter on Wednesday, and he had this to say about the Aaron Rodgers, situation that is going on right now with this free agency.
Okay, but let's talk a little bit more about the Giants, because you said that Aaron Rodgers is also their number one. So where exactly are they in the pursuit for Aaron Rodgers?
They're waiting to hear. Everybody's waiting to hear. He has not communicated to either team what his timeline is, what his preference is. Nobody knows. And so the Giants, like the Steelers, they're in a holding pattern right now. And the hard thing about this is they have only one quarterback under contract. That's Tommy DeVito right now. And the Giants need to come up with an upgrade somehow, some way. They're waiting on Aaron Rodgers. They're interested in Russell Wilson as well. And so if Aaron Rodgers were to take the chair in Pittsburgh, that would leave Russell Wilson, presumably, with the option of taking the chair in New York with the Giants. But again, I don't believe that would be the only option for Russell. So I think there's going to be other options out there, and we'll see how that works out in time here. But Aaron Rodgers is the first big domino here.
Okay, so let's talk about that here, and let's kind of break down a little bit what's further about what Schefter is saying there. So kind of like you might be saying, oh, well, like, who cares on like what the timeline is on Aaron Rodgers getting signed? Like, he's going to, he'll make his decision eventually. That's might be what someone might say about Aaron Rodgers. Well, the reason that that's important is that it doesn't seem like Aaron is going to be like a vet minimum guy. He's not going to go and sign somewhere for like $2 million a year. It actually seems like if he's going to go to a situation, he's probably going to get like it's going to be obviously like a 1 or 2 year contract, but it's going to be something where he gets like at least a decent amount of guaranteed money. Now he's not getting like Matt Stafford money, this money that he just signed recently, but he's probably getting, I would say, like $20 million or more maybe. So what's important about that and the timing on that is that you have all of these NFL teams that are going out there competing for free agents, potentially making trades. And if you're sitting there waiting on whether or not Aaron will or will not come to your franchise, you could potentially be hurting yourself by not going after other free agents or other people that could potentially get traded to your team, right? So that's kind of why the timing thing is very interesting there too. Or the other thing that Schefter said is that people really don't know what was the exact quote. Let me look that up here for a second. What his preference is. So it's kind of like, hey man, what do you want out of the team? Do you want a 1-year deal? Do you want a 2-year deal? What do you want out of guarantees? These teams are kind of in the dark on what really Aaron Rodgers is doing right now. And I saw that Pat McAfee on his show said that, like, hey, he's been texting Aaron Rodgers. He's been calling Aaron Rodgers. He hasn't heard anything from him. He has no indication of what he wants to do. And kind of what, like, I think the general media person, national media person would be saying about this Aaron Rodgers situation, I've seen people say it already, of why he is kind of dragging out this decision so long, is he wants attention. He wants people to talk about him. He wants people on ESPN to say a bunch of dumb things about him. He wants, like, we've seen a bunch of dumb things. Like, all of a sudden people are like, well, Aaron Rodgers to the Vikings? Why not? Who says no? I saw that stuff today. I saw a person on ESPN compare Aaron to the villain in The Lion King. It's like an attention thing for Aaron. And I think that's what a lot of national media people would be saying about this situation. But I am thinking about this, and you know what? They might be right, because if he ends up signing, this weekend, they're probably right on that situation. Because, hey, like, Aaron, you've known that you weren't going to be coming back to the Jets for several months now. Like, you're telling me that, like, week 15 of the NFL season, he's like, I don't know, I might come back to New York, even though the entire fan base hates me with a fiery passion. Like you're telling me you didn't know? You're telling me you didn't know the different quarterback or potential quarterback destinations like 3 months ago? And that wasn't something you talked about or thought about ever? Like we've known all this stuff for a while now. We knew that Pittsburgh was going to be a quarterback destination possibly. We knew that the Giants are going to be a quarterback destination. We knew all of this stuff. But that brings me to my theory here, guys. And I'm putting on my tinfoil hat here for a second because this is what I think could be happening with Aaron Rodgers right now. I think he could be looking at this situation, these two quarterback situations that he has right now. And he's looking at his age because, hey, this is the thing with the Aaron Rodgers decision that he makes. If he signs with the Steelers or the Giants and it's a flop next year, it's over. It's Dunsky. His career is over. So that's a pretty important decision, right? But both of these situations, I do not think are that great. I don't have to explain to you why I don't think that the Giant situation is great. Basically, their offensive weapons are Malik Neighbors and then nothing. And their defense has like good defensive line, but then like there's kind of a bunch of other holes on their defense. The Steelers, you might be saying, hey, the Steelers are a really good destination, man. Mike Tomlin, the culture. I mean, the Steelers haven't won a playoff game in 9 years. Their offensive line is terrible. Najee Harris left. You say what you want about Najee Harris, but he rushed for 1,000 yards every year he was in Pittsburgh. So they have running back concerns. Yeah, they signed DK Metcalf, but they really don't have much other weapons other than that. All right, like they're just not an offensive team. They don't have much of an offensive line. Like it's not necessarily like a guaranteed like home run destination for Aaron Rodgers to go to. So Aaron might be looking at those situations and just saying like, you know what? A few weeks ago, I was really betting on Matthew Stafford going to the Raiders or going to the Steelers or going to the Giants. And if that situation opened in LA, we know Aaron has a mansion in LA, or excuse me, in Malibu that he stays in every offseason. Maybe Aaron saw that LA situation dried up and doesn't like any of these other options. And maybe Aaron Rodgers in a few days or a week or so all of a sudden comes out of hiding and says, hey, the reason that I was taking so long to make a decision was not because I was choosing between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants. It's because I was choosing on whether or not to play football or not play football. And I am going to retire from football. I've made enough money. I've won a Super Bowl. I've won MVPs. I'm going to be, I mean, he wouldn't say this in a statement, but you know, kind of the narrative of like what we'd be saying about Aaron Rodgers. I've won all the MVPs. I made a bunch of money from the Packers and then the Jets, and then obviously a bunch of money from State Farm. I'm going to go and, you know, start my own podcast or something like that. And that's what I'll do. And I'll retire. And the reason I'm saying air quotes around retire is because we know this from the guy that Aaron Rodgers succeeded in Green Bay, Brett Favre, that you can retire and then all of a sudden unretire. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, and even Tom Brady did that too, obviously. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, you can stay in football shape, still keep training. You don't have to do all of the BS with going to the mini camps. You can go to Egypt to the pyramids. You can, you know, do whatever kind of like trippy things you want to do in the offseason, and you can be retired. And then let's say week 4 of the NFL season, knock on wood, a quarterback that's in a Super Bowl winning situation goes down with a season-ending injury. JJ McCarthy goes down. Brock Purdy goes down. Matt Stafford goes down. Tua goes down. Insert name of quarterback that is in winning situation. And then, and let's say it's a season-ending injury. Again, knock on wood, we hope that all those quarterbacks stay healthy the entire year. We hope all 32 quarterbacks stay healthy the entire year. Knock on wood for that. But if you're Aaron, then it'd be like, hey, I'll unretire to go to this situation and compete for a Super Bowl. I think that could be what's happening here. I really do, because I like these situations just aren't good, man. The Giants aren't a good situation. And you're also like going to like, you're staying in the same area. And I think maybe after the way the last 2 years went, you maybe want to go to a different area. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I know they got DK Metcalf. I know they have Mike Tomlin. I still don't think it's a good destination. I think their ceiling, even with Aaron Rodgers, is probably still getting bounced in the playoffs in the first round. Plus, that's a really tough division that he'd be in. I mean, I think it's a thing where maybe he just retires and then maybe comes back, you know, in the early next season if a quarterback gets hurt, or maybe he even just kind of like tries his luck next off season and is like, and does the thing where it's like, hey, I actually am ready to play again. If another quarterback situation emerges that he thinks it can be like a Tom Brady a la Tampa Bay or a Peyton Manning a la Denver, that could be what happens. That could be what's brewing here. Again, other than that, what else would he be mulling this decision over for so long for? Because again, you heard it from Adam Schefter. Like, they're not hearing from him. They don't know what he wants. And they need to make a decision so they know how to do other things with the rest of their roster to help them compete, which you would assume if Aaron's going to either one of those teams, that's what they're going to do. Or that's what he's going there to do. So that's my theory on it. I might be way off. And I'll just say this here at the end. If for some reason he signs somewhere within 24 hours of this video being posted, because we'll post this sometime, I guess it's Wednesday. I keep thinking it's Thursday. Sometime before, within 24 hours of this video being released, and we don't have many views on the video because sometimes the algorithm works where it's like we had one that we posted last week where it's like the first day of the video it had like 18 views, and then 2 days later it had 2,000 total. So if it's one of those things, I'll just delete this video. But if not, we'll keep it up because this situation's weird, man, and it's weird because it's Aaron Rodgers, and I think it's weird because I think potentially he could be debating his football mortality. And maybe too, I'm saying it's a joke retirement, but it could be a real retirement. It could be. It very well could be. So there you have it. That's going to do it for this episode here today. Again, let me know in the comments where you think Aaron Rodgers should go. Should he retire? Should he go to the Giants? Should he go to the Steelers? Should he go to the Browns? Wherever? Should he wait and see if there's a quarterback that's hurt early next season and kind of be a guy that comes in and is ready to go for a contending team? Let me know what you think. Would love to hear your thoughts. And again, thank you very much for watching. If you got this far in the video, you might as well just subscribe. It's the number one thing that you can do to help support the show. It costs you absolutely $0, and it is the best way to help us grow. It pushes us out in the algorithm more, and it helps us get to that goal of 1,000. We're at like 659 now as of this recording. So again, help a man out. Help me out, man. Would love to get the support. And again, hit the like button too, so I know that you guys like this video and I can create more videos like this. So thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you next time.